Alright, so this video is going to be an overview of the mechanical checklist on the latest version of the iManifold software 0.8.6. It is currently in beta, but we're going to go through the mechanical checklist feature. Over here in the menu, you go to Projects and Reporting. We will create a new project and we will label it Test just for fun. And this is the screen where you create a new project. You can input customer information, system profile, equipment info, work performed, and notes. But what we're going to jump into is the mechanical checklist. In the mechanical checklist, you can select an air conditioner, a furnace, or a heat pump. For this particular walkthrough, we're going to hit all three in part just to cover everything. And then once we've got most of the information from each one, we'll cover specific iManifold or mechanical checklist reports. So we're going to start with air conditioner. You can select the thermostat and input initial setting of the thermostat. You would simply input a temperature here. We'll just say 76 for fun. You can select whether the device is level or not. A green check mark would pretty obviously dictate whether it's level or not. Yellow would maybe be slightly out of level, and red would be way out of level. You can input battery voltage, say, I don't know, 9 volts. You can select whether or not it's programmed. You can select that it's secured to the wall and that the hole in the wall is plugged. You can also drop into the filter screen or filter menu. You can select whether it's held in place, whether the door is in place. You could also input static pressure drop across the filter. You could select whether it's been cleaned or replaced, and then you can also tell it what size the filter is, or you can toggle over and select the CFM flow rating. For this one, we will simply select filter size, and just for fun, we'll say 20 by 20 by 1. And then you can also select if the filter is high efficiency. Below that, you have the drain line. You can tell whether it's been cleaned, whether it has a clean out tee, that the slope is okay, the joints are tight, and if for whatever reason there is an internal trap, you could select that that is okay as well. Below that, you have the blower motor. You can give the bearings on the motor a value or check whether they're good or bad. Can tell that the wheel is balanced, motor is oiled, belt is free of glazing and cracks. You could input belt size. We'll just say 64 for fun. And number of belts, we'll say there's 2. You can also select that the amp draw is appropriate. We'll just say 3.2. You could also input a capacitor reading. The actual reading, we'll say 4.5. And it's rated at 5. 4.5 to me is barely within its allowable range. We'll give that a yellow exclamation point. If you had a variable speed or ECM motor, you could select that the dip switches and settings are okay. Below that, you have general. General information regarding wiring, low voltage and high voltage, door panels, polarity. We'll say the voltage is 240. The ducts are not noisy. The dampers are correctly positioned. Vents are not covered. And we did put a sticker on the unit. Below that, you've got the AC unit. The appearance is okay. You could input voltage drop across the contactor. L1 to T1, L2 to T2. You can confirm wiring and connections are okay. Condenser fan is oiled. Chassis and pad are level. No excess vibration. Condenser base ports are clean. Condenser coil is clean. And evaporator coil is clean. In that menu, you can select a pressure drop or input a pressure drop across the coil. Disconnect voltage drop if you happen to have a voltage drop across the disconnect, otherwise you could input no drop. Crankcase heater amps, I don't know, we'll call it 5 amps. Compressor capacitor, rated and actual. Condenser fan motor reading, rated and actual. Refrigerant caps and seals, Schrader cores, suction line insulation, and wire insulation. Below that, you've got the service wrap-up. Unit is running outside, everything is left how it started. Discuss service contract, explain suggestions and repairs, and set the thermostat back to whatever temperature. Once you've created that, you can submit, and your mechanical checklist turns green. We can go to reporting. In the reporting feature, if you are paying for the monthly subscription to the iManifold cloud, you get free charge and airflow reports and free mechanical checklist reports. If you're not paying the monthly subscription, you would not get charge and airflow or mechanical checklist. You would pay per report. We'll go into the mechanical checklist. You have the option of adding a company logo and marketing message, and we will generate the report. Once it's generated, you have the option of exporting it to whatever apps you have available there. At this point, we're just going to view the report in app, and this is how it appears. You would have date of service, time of service, and all that sort of information. Furnace, air handler, condenser, evaporator, and then you've got your check marks and screens. Temperature settings, your yellow exclamation point. If you had some poor readings, you'd have red exclamation points. At the bottom, that iManifold box, the black picture and verify by iManifold would be where your company logo and marketing message would appear. So we're going to go back and we're going to create a different mechanical checklist for the furnace just to show you how that works. And we're going to skip everything from previous and just note the differences. One of the new screens on the furnace checklist is accessories, and you have humidifier information in there currently. Humidifier location is okay. Humidifier was tested. Water is running when called. Humidifier pad was checked, water strainer checked, drain is clean, and humidifier properly set. And if there were additional accessories, you could check that as well. On the furnace box, you have several new boxes to check into. You can select gas pressure and input your inlet gas pressure. You could input a low fire gas pressure as well as a high fire gas pressure. You can select that the burners are clean, flame sensor clean. You could input milliamps for the flame sensor. You can say that the hot surface igniter was tested, and you could input ohms on the hot surface igniter. Pilot orifice cleaned and adjusted. High limit okay. Pressure test. Pressure switch tested. Fan off time adjusted. Wire connections. Screws, excess vibration, vent pipe, temperature rise. Under temperature rise, you can put a rated temperature rise and an actual temperature rise. Heat exchanger checked, flame is stable, in-shop burners in line, air intake is clear, wires and tubes are clear of the motor, no water leakage, and collector box is okay. Submit that. We can go down to reporting, and we can generate a new report, and then we can view that report or export it as well. And this is what your furnace checklist looks like. If you had red exclamations, those would show up in each section as pertinent. But you see all of the information that you input, your rated versus actual and all that sort of information, your filter size, pretty much everything. We're going to go back and we're going to look at the heat pump mechanical checklist. And that is all the same except for the heat pump unit down there at the bottom. We'll go into that, and you've got a couple of things that you can check there. Defrost cycle, outdoor thermostat, reversing valve, and overall condition of the unit. Overall condition, you can label it however you care to, and we'll say that this one's 25 years old. We'll submit that. Go to the reporting, go to mechanical checklist, and generate a new report. And this is how your heat pump report would display. Blower amp draw, capacitors, defrost cycle, etc., etc. The other items that you would have checked would come through as well, and you'd only see your differences on the heat pump unit, furnace unit, etc., etc., etc. So that's it for the walkthrough. Pretty straightforward stuff. Just for fun, I'll pull up a real report and we'll look at that. This mechanical checklist was on a gas furnace just a little while ago. You see all the information there, air handler, date of service, etc. So there you have it. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and share, and we'll see you on the next video. Chill coming down on me. Hard times are falling, snapping at my back door.